Good evening and welcome to Tech Toast with Science Spread. This is your RJ Vidya. This is the 13th episode of Tech Toast with Science Spread. I hope you are enjoying this show. This show is about science, maths and also technology. Since this is a new year, I hope you're having a great time and you're spending your days wisely, I hope. Because each second of your life is very important. Once lost will never come back. So 11 days have already gone in this year. Have a very successful and a great year ahead. Before we begin our show, I'd like to remind you again as usual about the offer that we have for you. So Radio Udan has come up with an offer. It's all about, I'm speaking about convention that's going to happen on January 31st, 2015. If you want to register yourself for this convention, you can visit www.radioudan.com and register yourself. Or if you want a free entry, give your feedback for all the shows as much as possible. We'll take the count till January 30th and top 5 listeners who give most number of feedback will be selected for this convention for free. So hurry up. There are various ways through which you can give your feedback. You can visit www.radioudan.com and just click on submit feedback and you can submit your feedback, or you can visit facebook.com/radiospace_udan and like any of our posts or comment on any post, or our Skype ID is also Radio Udan. You can give your feedback through this medium as well. So choose whichever is convenient for you, and especially for Tech Toast with Science Spread, please give your feedback because it gives me an opportunity to learn better and to improve next time. So after listening to our show, if you have any problem with the show or anything I have to improve or any suggestion, please don't forget to send your mail to vidya.y@radioudan.com, or you can visit radioudan.com and give your feedback. Let's start off with science as usual. Why I'm focusing mostly on science and math? Because we already have a special show on Radio Udan for technology, which is called Tech City, and it's I guess Wednesdays. So you can listen, and we'll focus on technology too. But today I want to tell you about a scientist who is very famous in science section. So let's begin with the science section for today. I'm going to speak about a scientist who is also very famous, very famous. I hope when I tell scientist, you might guess 2 or 3 scientists in your head itself. So one among that surely will be the one which I'm going to speak about. Can you think of your scientist and guess which one we'll be talking about today? He's a very famous scientist, and also he has contributed so much to the world of physics and also mathematics. One story about this scientist was, I guess I had read when I was a kid. It was about a cat that he had and how it destroyed all the papers and he didn't get angry about it. Can you guess? Yeah, it's none other than the great scientist, one of the greatest scientists, who is Newton. Let's know about Newton's biography and his inventions in brief, and after that, let me tell you few personal facts about scientists. See, when we generally talk about scientists, we just talk about their discoveries and only science, right? So today let's talk a little bit about whatever he was interested apart from science, and let's know many facts about Newton. Let's start off. So Isaac Newton was born on a special day. Special day, I mean for Christians. Obviously, when I tell this, you will know the birth of Jesus, which is Christmas, which is on December 25th. So Isaac Newton was born on December 25th, 1642. He was born in Woolsthorpe in England. And his father died before he was born, and when he was only 3, his mother, Hannah Newton, remarried and moved on, and she left Newton to be raised by his uncle. So when he was a kid, he didn't have his mom, and he didn't have his dad. His dad had died, and his mom left him to be raised by his uncle. So he was to be taken care of by his uncle and take care of his needs on his own. See, basically, when people achieve something, they always have difficulties. Nothing comes for free. So hard work is so important. He didn't have his mom and dad with him when he was a kid. He had to do everything on his own. Still, he was able to achieve so much. So everyone, I tell you, you should work very hard as possible, and surely you will be able to achieve your goals. See, most of you who are listening Radio Udan might be partially or totally blind, so that doesn't matter. See, if you have things, if you have a challenge, you can actually come up in life, and just hard work is the key. That's it. And if you have good family support, use that and just achieve your goal. So coming back, I told you Newton didn't have his mom and dad with him to take care of him. Later, he was sent to local grammar school, and for a time it was expected that he would grow up to manage his mother's property. So when he grows up, he had to manage his mother's property. That was expected out of him. But he actually persisted in pursuit of his wider interests, and after leaving the grammar school, he enrolled at Trinity College because his uncle encouraged him to do so. So he enrolled in Trinity College at the University of Cambridge. He enrolled himself in 1661. Later, he received his degree in Bachelor of Arts in 1665. First, he was not doing science, so he received his degree in Bachelor of Arts in 1665. Later, he was named as the Fellow of the College, that is Trinity College, after 2 years. Meanwhile, in the year of 1666, England actually fought with Holland, and the whole England suffered with plague and also terrible fire in London. All this happened in 1666, and when all these happened, Newton made his three most important discoveries during this time when England was suffering. He made his discoveries in the field of optics. Optics is nothing but study of light. The study of light is called as optics, and Newton made one of his discoveries, which is one of his greatest discoveries in this field, which is called as optics. He developed and proved his theory of light, that is, white light is composed of mixture of other colors of light. Okay, light is not to see, people generally consider light to be white, but Newton discovered that white light is composed of mixture of other colors of light, which when split apart by a prism form a band of colors, which is called as spectrum. He discovered that white light is not only made up of white, the color white, but it's mixture of various other colors of light. And how it can be proved is, it should be split apart by a prism, and when it's split apart, it forms a band of color which is called as a spectrum. That's how he discovered that light is made up of various colors. This was a revolutionary advance, and equally revolutionary was his work in mathematics. I told you he made his three discoveries at this time. One was this, he discovered that white light is made up of various other colors too, which is in the field of optics. Now coming to the second discovery that he made in this time when England was suffering with plague and also there was a fire in London, was his work in mathematics. In mathematics, he developed a binomial theorem, and he worked out a method of calculating slope of curves and also area under them. He did all these things, and this paved the way for math, which is known as calculus. Calculus is advanced form of math. This calculus can be applied in various fields like physics, and basically to calculate the distance, velocity and things like that. It's very helpful in physics and many other fields too. So after discovering all this, generally it led to the discovery of calculus as well. Let me repeat again. He developed a binomial theorem and worked out a method for calculating slope of curves and also area under them. This paved the way for math, which is known as calculus. There was other greatest discovery, that is his invention basically. It was the concept of gravity. About gravity we actually discussed in when we were discussing solar system. Still, let me recap what exactly is gravity. Okay, suppose you have a glass and you drop it on the floor. Then what happens is it just falls on the floor. It doesn't keep flying, right? When you drop a glass, it falls on the floor. How does this happen? It happens because of gravity. Because Earth has a lot of gravity and it pulls any object which is lighter towards it. That's how it falls. Taking another example, take solar system. Why should all the planets and also comets and all these things revolve around the sun, that is orbit around the sun, just because of gravitational force? Sun is so huge, I told you it covers almost 99% of the solar system. So it's so huge that it has greater gravitational force. Larger an object, greater will be its gravitational force. So sun has so much gravitation that it generally pulls all the lighter objects towards it. When it pulls all the objects towards it, they also try to escape from the sun. They can't completely move away from the sun, and they can't come towards the sun too. So they'll be stuck up in between and generally end up orbiting around the sun. That is, sun will be trying to pull the objects towards it and they will be trying to escape away from the sun. Generally what happens is they'll be stuck up in between because they'll end up orbiting around the sun. This all also happens because sun has greater gravitational force. When you take earth, the glass falls to the earth just because glass has lesser gravitational force when compared to earth, and earth can easily pull the glass towards it. That's the reason when you place a chair on the earth and sit down, you won't fly, because chair can land on the earth because of the gravitational force of the earth. This force, this most important force, which actually everything works on this force in physics. So Newton had discovered this force too. His theory of gravity, however, remained incomplete and unverifiable, and it wouldn't be published for 2 decades because it couldn't be verifiable. Then in 1669, Newton was appointed Professor of Mathematics at Trinity College. In January 1672, he was elected to Royal Society. Royal Society is nothing but it's an organization for scientists and intellectuals. So in January 1672, he was elected to this Royal Society. Shortly thereafter, he presented a paper detailing his discoveries in optics. That's what I told you, what exactly is optics, the study of light. After being elected to this society, he presented the paper on discovery in optics, and also he developed a rivalry with the scientist Robert Hooke. Robert Hooke was the scientist who actually discovered cells, and Robert Hooke actually, he criticized all Newton's research. This rivalry would percolate throughout 1670s as Newton continued to work mathematics of gravity, and also it would flare up in the mid 1680s when Newton finally published his work. When he published his work, Hooke had felt that some of his work had been stolen from him. This is why the rivalry took place, and it ended in 1680s. Newton's research was organized into 3-volume book. The name of the book is The Philosophiae Naturalis Principia Mathematica. This means mathematical principles of natural philosophy. This book had all Newton's research, and this book was known to posterity as the Principia. And this book also had Newton's 3 laws of motion. 3 laws of motion is nothing but it is like how any object will behave when it is at rest or when it is moving. This is what is 3 laws of motion. I think we'll talk about it some other day, but I'm just telling you what exactly 3 laws of motion means. Motion means movement, right? So when any object is moving or when it stops moving, what exactly happens and how exactly it happens is written and explained in Newton's 3 laws of motion. So this book has all these laws too, and it has theory of gravitation and also mathematical proofs which Newton had invented. Although the theory had many detractors at the beginning and many people opposed it, the scientific community would ultimately embrace it, and the Newtonian world would dominate physics until 20th century. Newton was the leading physicist at that time. This book Principia, wherein all his research was published, this book made Newton English celebrity, and he was elected to Parliament in 1691, and after surviving a nervous breakdown in 1693, he was appointed Warden of the Mint in 1696 and also Master of the Mint 3 years later. He was elected President of the Royal Society in 1703 after Hooke died. Hooke, you remember I told you he was the scientist who discovered cells and also who fought with Newton. They had a rivalry. After his death, he was appointed as the President of Royal Society instead of Hooke in 1703. As his fame grew, Newton actually worked towards his own reputation. He brought the society under his control, and he carried on a feud, that is basically he carried on a fight with German mathematician Leibniz over the issue of who had developed calculus first. There was a fight that was going on whether Newton or Leibniz had developed calculus first. Finally, it was proved that Newton had developed calculus first. He was able to prove this because he brought the society under control because of his name and fame at that time. And Newton had never married, and he was very pious. He dedicated his later years to the interpretation of scriptures and mighty effort to understand the relationship between biblical prophecy and history. So he spent his last few years in this way, very religious and pious. He died on March 20th, 1727, and when he died, he was buried with great honors. He was buried in Westminster Abbey. एक जीत न मानी, एक हार न मानी, एक जीत न मानी, एक हार न मानी, एक राधा एक मीरा, दोनों ने शाम को चाहा, अंतर क्या दोनों की चाह में बोलो, अंतर क्या दोनों की चाह में बोलो, एक प्रेम दीवानी, एक दर्द दीवानी, एक प्रेम दीवानी, एक दर्द दीवानी, एक प्रेम दीवानी, एक दर्द दीवानी. To know more about Newton now, Newton, as I told you, he discovered laws of motion and also calculus and many other theories and binomial theorem in mathematics, and also he was responsible for foundation of mechanics, and his theory also helped a man to land on moon, and also he was responsible for discovery of gravitation, which is very important. So all these that we discussed proves Newton as a mathematician and a scientist. There is no doubt about it. But let's find out other side of Newton's life. This will be very interesting because we know many facts about scientists, but we'll never think it as so deep and we'll never care for it much. So let me tell you other side of Newton's life. This is quite interesting. Newly born Newton was very small in size. As I told you, Isaac Newton was born on Christmas in 1642, and this year actually one of the greatest scientists also died. He was none other than Galileo Galilei. He died, and the same year Newton was born. When Newton was born, he was born prematurely. He was named after his father, who died few months before he was born. So Newton was nothing but his father's name itself. The newly born Isaac was so small in size that it can fit in quart jug and was not expected to survive anymore. That he was so small when he was born that he could basically fit in a quart jug and no one expected him to survive. Still, this premature baby grew up to be Newton and he discovered so many things. Next fact is quite interesting. Young Newton actually loved art more than science. He never cared for science that much. Young Isaac was interested in drawing and coloring than his studies. He always drew and colored objects. He was fond of drawing so much that other than his books and papers, he used to draw on walls and ceilings of rooms too. He used to draw in his books and papers and also walls and ceilings of his room. His room was full of colorful pictures drawn everywhere. This is how he was. He loved art more than science. So how would anyone expect that he would be a scientist? This next fact, Newton's fight at school, which actually changed his life. Earlier in the school, Newton was a very lazy student in his class, but it all changed in a day when bully in his school fought and kicked him. Though Isaac was smaller in size, he actually challenged his opponent and won eventually. Then, that was the day when he decided to be the best student in the school. After that, he was one of the hard-working students during his schooling. Next fact, Newton's mother wanted him to be a farmer. At the age of 17, Newton was forced to run the family farm after his school by his mother. But Newton tried that and he did not succeed in farming. And why he was why he took interest in science is because of his uncle, who persuaded his mother to send Newton for higher studies to attend Trinity College in Cambridge. See, first when he was born, he was so small, everyone thought he would die. Then he was so interested at at art more than science. Then he was the laziest student. Then he started working hard. Then he even tried farming. And who knew that he would become a scientist? Life keeps changing. You'll never know what you will be unless you try. So try and try till you succeed is the best, thought. Next, we all have heard about Newton and apple. That's how he invented gravity. There are many versions for this. The most popular story of Newton and the apple had so many versions. Some people believe that Newton was walking in the garden when he saw apple falling. Some others said he was sitting under the tree when it actually hit on his head. But Newton himself said when he was looking out of the window, he saw the apple falling down from the tree. Then he started wondering, why did apple fall from the tree? How can it fall to the earth? Then he discovered gravitation, because earth had so much gravitation and it was able to pull apple towards it. What we would have done if we would have watched apple falling down, just ignore it. But he had so much curiosity that he went on discovering why it happened, and finally he ended up discovering gravity. Newton was very secretive scientist. He was very intelligent. He became a mathematics professor at the age of 26. He had many discoveries on his name, and most of the discoveries were made at very young age, but he never disclosed all his discoveries to the world. He was very secretive scientist. He waited for few more years to declare all his discoveries. For example, he tested groundbreaking experiments on nature of light, that is optics, at the age of 27, but he presented his findings 3 years later. He waited for 3 years and then presented his findings. He presented it to British Royal Society. Even he did not disclose the discovery of calculus, and he had to disclose it when it became controversial with mathematician Gottfried Leibniz, when he claimed for the same. Remember I told you that Leibniz and Newton fought for whoever discovered calculus first. Because of this, he proved that he discovered calculus first. Till then, he didn't disclose that he had already found out calculus. Next thing is, when a person has success, it doesn't mean they're only in that field. So Newton believed in superpowers. He was a religious person and very much believed in God. Though his work, particularly laws of motion and universal gravitation, helped the mankind, but he strongly believed that though the gravity clarifies motion of planets, but existence of God makes the planets move. This is what he believed. He knew that because of gravitation it happens. But he also believed that because of God all the planets move. And he also believed God is the supreme eternal power or the universal ruler. Newton never believed in devils, spirits and ghosts. He just believed in God. Newton was a religious devotee. Isaac Newton was passionate about Bible and he was very devoted to religious duties. He spent more time in pursuit of religion. He wrote more about religion and religious issues than about science or mathematics. But his books on religion and religious issues, people never cared much because he became so popular as a mathematician and scientist. But he wrote more books on religion and religious issues than maths and science. He even calculated exact dates of crucifixion of Jesus and beginning and end of the world. There also he used maths and calculated the beginning and end of the world, the dates for that, and crucifixion of Jesus according to religious scriptures. And one more important fact is Newton secretly practiced alchemy. After his death, it was revealed Newton's secret interest in alchemy. alchemy is nothing but producing gold from base metal. And also he had done so many experiments related to alchemy, and it was discovered only after his death. But this was not to be done when he was alive, still he did it. The production of gold and silver from other metals was banned during his time, still he practiced it, and it was revealed only after his death. And Newton was also a speechless politician. He was elected as a member of parliament in 1689. Newton served in politics also for 1 year. He served in politics for 1 year, but he showed least interest in lengthy parliamentary work. During his time as member of parliament, he spoke just one sentence, only one sentence. He just went there and sat there, and after attending all the parliamentary activities, he just came home. He never spoke. He was a speechless politician, and he spoke only one sentence. That is, once he asked a nearby escort to close the window which was open on a windy day. This is the only sentence that he spoke. So this is all about Newton's life and amazing facts. That is other side of Newton. When he was born, he was very small, and also he was a lazy student. Then in class, he just had a fight. Then he was interested in art more than science. Later he was sent to college and completed his degree in arts. Then he took up science and succeeded in that too. And as he took up farming, he didn't succeed in that. Then he was also a politician. He was a religious person. He also was interested in alchemy, that is extracting gold from other metals. All these were different, he was basically all-rounder, I should say. This was all about Newton. We already got to know much about Newton. Welcome to the world of invention, creativity, and discovery. Here's an opportunity for all of us to explore the ocean of knowledge. This show is all about emerging trends in science and technology, math, quiz, facts, and much more. So friends, get ready to listen Tech Toast with Science Spread with your RJ Vidya only on Radio Udan. You can hear this show every Monday from 7 to 8 pm and rebroadcast every Tuesday from 2 to 3 pm. To contribute any article or information regarding science, math or technology, or to give your valuable feedback or suggestion, please send a mail to ttwithss@gmail.com. That is ttwithss@gmail.com or vidya.y@radioudan.com. That is vidhya.y@radioudan.com. Or you can also give your feedback by visiting the website www.radioudan.com. Now, let me tell you few interesting quotes that were quoted by Newton. These are few inspirational quotes and also maybe one or two religious quotes which were important quotes that were quoted by Newton. And see, this is not my opinion, so whether you agree or disagree with these quotes, these were said by Newton, so just take whatever positive you find in them. because it was his opinion and his quotes. First quote, if I have seen further, it's by standing on shoulders of giants. Next, I do not know what I may appear to the world, but to myself I seem to have been only like a boy playing on the seashore and diverting myself now and then, finding a smoother pebble or a prettier shell than ordinary, whilst the great ocean of truth lay all undiscovered before me. This quote actually tells much about his simplicity. Although he has discovered so much, he feels that he hasn't discovered. There's so many things that are yet to be discovered, and he has discovered only a little bit. This shows how simple he was. Next, tact is the knack of making a point without making an enemy. This you should know. In scientific world, proofs and all will have so many arguments and so many people don't agree. So he has said tact is the knack of making a point without making an enemy. Next quote, I can calculate motion of heavenly bodies but not madness of people. Next quote, men build too many walls and not enough bridges. I think he would have meant that people just get separated and they're not together all the time. So they just do not build good relations. I guess he meant that. Men build too many walls and not enough bridges. Next is, what we know is a drop. What we don't know is the ocean. Again, similar to the second quote, he is showing his simplicity. Next, gravity explains the motions of planets, but it cannot explain who sets the planets in motion. This he has said because he believed in religion and God so much. So he has told this quote. Next is, nature is pleased with simplicity and nature is no dummy. This is because he respects nature. Next quote, to every action there is always an equal and opposite or contradictory reaction. This is one of his laws and it's also his quote. Next quote, truth is ever to be found in simplicity and not in multiplicity and confusion of things. Again he talks about truth here. Next is, a man may imagine things that are false, but he can only understand things that are true. That means he can only imagine things that are false and he can understand things that are only true. This again he is speaking about truth. Next is, no great discovery was made without a bold guess. That means only if you are very bold, then you can invent or discover something. Next, what goes up must come down. That means if a person climbs high, he cannot stay there forever. You have to come down sometimes. Next is, if I have made any valuable discoveries, it's been due more to patient attention than to any other talent. See, he has discovered so much and he says because of patience he was able to do all these and not to any other. He gives credit to patience and not to any other talent. Next quote, live your life as an exclamation rather than explanation. This is very important, repeating again. Live your life as an exclamation rather than an explanation. Next is, you have to make the rules and not follow the rules. Next is, actually this quote was said when Isaac Newton was asked how he discovered law of gravity. He replied, by thinking about it all the time. This is how he was able to discover it. Next is, to explain all nature is too difficult a task for any man or even for any one age. That means nature is so complicated, that's what he is telling. Next, Plato is my friend, Aristotle is my friend, but my greatest friend is truth. These were all the quotes that were said by Newton, and I hope you enjoyed it and took inspiration, and whatever positive you can take, I hope you have gathered from these quotes.
आप सुन रहे हैं रेडियो उड़ान, फ्लाइट ऑफ लाइफ।
प्रतिभा की पहचान,
प्रज्ञा की मुस्कान,
सबलांगों का साथी, ये है रेडियो उड़ान।
रेडियो उड़ान के प्रोग्राम्स की जानकारी के लिए, शोज में पार्टिसिपेट करने के लिए, किसी भी शो को फीडबैक देने के लिए, आर्काइव रिक्वेस्ट करने के लिए, आरजे बनने के लिए और अपने फेवरेट आरजेस की प्रोफाइल्स पढ़ने के लिए लॉग ऑन करें www.radioudan.com। स्काइप आईडी रेडियो उड़ान, ईमेल mail@radioudan.com। रेडियो उड़ान, a flight of life।
Now, let me tell you maths trick. Coming to the math section, today I am going to tell you maths trick. First, think of a number in your mind and remember this number. It's very important that you remember a number. Think of a small number, preferably below 10, or if you're very good at math, you can take any number, billion or whatever. You can take any number, hundreds or thousands or anything. Just think of a number, preferably below 10 anyways. Double the number. After thinking of it, please double the number, giving you some time. That means multiply it by 2 or add the number again to the number that you have thought. That is doubling a number. Double it. Hope you are done. Add 10 to your answer. Add 10 to your answer. First think of a number, then you are going to double it. Double it means multiply it by 2 or add the number to the number that you have taken. The same number you should add. Suppose you have taken 0, you should add 0 again. 0 plus 0. If you have taken 1, add 1 plus 1, which is 2. Like that. To this answer, you should add 10. I hope you are done. Add 10. Now divide it by 2. Divide the answer by 2. That means you should make your answer into half. Suppose your answer was 40,000. Half of it will be 20,000. Think of a number, double the number, add 10 to your number. Now divide the number by 2. Hope you are done dividing the number by 2. Now you should tell the number that you have. Okay? Since you cannot tell me the number that you have because you are somewhere and I am somewhere, the original number will be nothing but 5 less than the answer you have. Am I right? This is the trick. When you ask this trick to your friend, you should always tell them to tell their answer. After dividing it by 2, tell them to tell the answer. Once they tell you the answer, you have to deduct 5 from the answer. That will be their original number. Let's take an example and see what I mean, and I'll tell you what I mean. First, think of a number. Let's take 8. 8 is the number. Now, double the number. When you double the number, your answer will be 16. Remember, originally we have taken 8. Doubling 8, you get 16. Now next step is to add 10 to the number. When you add 10, you get 26. 16 plus 10 is nothing but 26. Then divide the number by 2. When you divide it, you get 26 by 2, which is 13. 13 you get. And then you should tell your friend to tell the answer. Now we have got 13. 13 is the answer. So deduct 5 from 13, and when you deduct 5, you get 13 minus 5, which is 8, which was your original number. You can guess that original number after deducting 5. Let's take another example. Take 24. 24 is the number. Doubling the number, you get 48. Double the number, which is 48. 48 plus 10, add 10 to the number, so you get 58. Now 58 by 2, you get 29. 58 by 2, you get 29, and tell them to tell the answer. Now we have got 29, right? So the original number will be 5 less than this number, that is 29 minus 5, which is 24. I'll repeat the trick. Ask a friend to think of a number, and then tell them to double it. Then ask them to add 10 to their number, that is 10 to the answer. Then get them to divide this answer by 2. After adding 10, you should ask them to divide the current result by 2. Then tell them to tell the number that they have at present. Then you subtract 5 from this, the answer that they tell you, and tell them the original number, and they'll be surprised. Just tell them you want to read their mind by actually guessing the original number. Hope you enjoyed the maths trick. Now let's take a look at how potato chips were invented. Still we have some time, so this is the last thing that I am going to tell you. Let's take a look at how potato chips were invented. George Crumb was the inventor of potato chips. Potato chip was invented in 1853 by George Crumb. Crumb was a Native American. Few people say he was Native American and few say he was African American chef at Moon Lake Lodge Resort in Saratoga Springs in New York. This one is situated in USA. He was a chef over there. French fries were very popular at the restaurant during those days. One day, a customer who came to eat those French fries actually complained that fries were so thick and he cannot eat. Crumb actually tried making a thinner batch of the French fries. That means he made all the French fries thinner. He tried his best to make it thinner. The customer was still unsatisfied and he was continuously complaining that even the second batch of French fries that he made were still thick for him to eat. So Crumb finally made French fries that were very, very thin, that were too thin to eat with a fork, hoping to annoy the extremely fussy customer. But customer was so happy, and this was a surprise to Crumb, and potato chips were invented in this way. Crumb's chips were originally called as Saratoga chips because the restaurant is situated there, and it was also called as potato crunches. They were soon packaged and sold in England. Then Crumb opened his own restaurant later. William Tappenden, he manufactured and marketed the chips in Cleveland later. Okay, this happened in Ohio in 1895. In 1920s, the salesman Herman Lay sold potato chips to southern USA. He sold it from trunk of his car because there were no proper packets at that time. In 1926, Laura Scudder, who owned a potato chip factory in Monterey Park, California, invented a wax paper potato chip bag that we currently use. This was invented in 1926. This kept the chips fresh and crunchy, and this made potato chips even more popular, and this is how it could be sold worldwide. I hope you enjoyed this fact and hope you enjoyed story about Newton and math trick, and also this fact of how potato chips was invented. Since we don't have any time, I'll come up with nice information for you for the next week. If you have any suggestion or feedback, please visit www.radioudan.com and try to give your feedback for this show, or if you want me to add anything new. So this week we are done with this show. Next week let's meet at the same time in the same show, but with different information, of course. Till then, have a great week. Take care of yourself. May you have all the success this week. This is your RJ Vidya signing off. Take care and goodbye.
पास आए यूं मुस्कुराए, तुम पास आए यूं मुस्कुराए, तुमने न जाने क्या सपने दिखाए। तुम पास आए यूं मुस्कुराए, तुमने न जाने क्या सपने दिखाए। अब तो मेरा दिल जागे न सोता है, क्या करूँ हाय कुछ कुछ होता है, क्या करूँ हाय कुछ कुछ होता है।
तुम पास आए यूं मुस्कुराए, तुमने न जाने क्या सपने दिखाए। अब तो मेरा दिल जागे न सोता है, क्या करूँ हाय कुछ कुछ होता है, क्या करूँ हाय कुछ कुछ होता है।
ना जाने कैसा एहसास है, बुझती नहीं है क्या प्यास है।
क्या नशा इस प्यार का मुझ पे सनम छाने लगा।
कोई न जाने क्यों चैन खोता है, क्या करूँ हाय कुछ कुछ होता है।
क्या करूँ हाय कुछ कुछ होता है। क्या रंग लाई मेरी दुआ, ये इश्क जाने कैसे हुआ। बेचैनियों में चैन न जाने क्यों आने लगा।
तन्हाई में दिल यादें संजोता है, क्या करूँ हाय कुछ कुछ होता है।
क्या करूँ हाय कुछ कुछ होता है।
तुम पास आए यूं मुस्कुराए, तुमने न जाने क्या सपने दिखाए।
तुम पास आए यूं मुस्कुराए, तुमने न जाने क्या सपने दिखाए।
अब तो मेरा दिल जागे न सोता है, क्या करूँ हाय कुछ कुछ होता है।